All right. Well, welcome everybody to Finance Essentials with Danny Hudson. I am your host, Danny Hudson, and here we are, first week in January. Welcome everybody back from the holiday period. We are kicking off Entrepreneur Month, and today we actually have Ken Madden, who is one of the founders of Ciro, or you guys may also know them as Ciro 3D. They make super cool, which I'm sure Ken probably loves my technical terminology that I'm using there for super cool. Motorcycle parts. They have a couple of different companies, but yeah. So we're going to start off. We're going to talk to Ken today. Ken, no pressure. Ken, you're the first interview, and so you not only need to be very informative, but you need to keep everybody engaged and funny. How does that sound?
It can only get better from here.
Yeah, we'll start the bar kind of low, and then we'll go from there.
Let's set her low with the motorcycle guy, and then you can work up to
perfect. Perfect.
Tesla.
So like I was saying, so Ken is the founder of Ciro. Do you want to give us a little bit of your background and what Ciro is and how you guys got started?
Absolutely. So I've been in I got a degree in product design back in the early 90s, and from Minneapolis College of Art and Design. And I got out, worked at a design firm for a while called Kablooey Design in Blaine, Minnesota. And not a good fit, got let go. It's the first time I ever got fired. And that sent me off on a course of just doing all kinds of different things. So I designed a interior design of a restaurant. We did ended up working in the motorcycle and custom car industry and learning how to airbrush and weld and do all kinds of just custom car, custom anything. Basically I spent 10 years learning anything I possibly could, the human capital.
Yep.
And that led me to, I had a lot of success in like getting in magazines and things like that before the internet was popular. Work I had done and things like that, but never really got the credit for it. But just like, here's a car I did on the cover of Rod and Custom magazine. It was a huge deal for a 30-year-old pinstriper kid,
Yeah, absolutely.
And so one thing led to a product design degree, building bikes, and started, most custom these guys are craftsmen and things, but they're not designers. They're not product designers. So I had a different eye and feel for it. I also know different materials and how to make castings and do my own invest cast waxes. So if you invest cast a piece of aluminum, you can make a wax, and that's what it's made from. And then they put a slurry around it. Long story short, they can make an aluminum part. So I was able to do that because I knew how to do that. And I caught the eye at a show. I was with a company called Norton Motorcycles, which ended up turning into Viper Motorcycles. And this is in the 2000s, where I kind of got headhunted to go work for the top motorcycle accessory company at the time. That was Kuryakin. And I worked there for about 11 years. And still have a lot of friends there, good people, and they have a good company. And but it got a little bit corporate for me. I'm not a corporate guy. I'm an artist.
Yeah.
And so the opportunity arose for me and a couple of guys, an investor, to get together and start our own company to really kind of change up the motorcycle industry and really come out with something new, because it had kind of gotten stale. But there was a few big players and not a lot of else going on except for the real small guys. So we said, let's start up and really rethink the whole process and what we want to do. And we started that in 2014 in end of May.
Mm-hmm.
And we did something that if you're a product designer or an artist, you almost never in your lifetime get an opportunity to do. And that is spend a whole complete year. We sat right under the radar. We didn't do anything. We went to launch with a lot of products, not just one. We wanted a whole product line.
Sure.
We spent a whole year, the three of us designers,
Mm-hmm.
doing nothing but coming up with ideas and creating product and tooling it and testing it. And I mean, it was...
And for a creative, that's literally like your dream job.
Yeah, for a creative, that's it. I mean, You're literally you have none of the other stuff.
Right.
There's no customers yet. There's
right.
No...
They're like, we don't want you to deal with any people. We literally just want you to sit in this room and just create stuff. We want you to create the coolest possible items that you possibly can come up with.
Even better than that, when you say that we want you to, the we want you was us.
Oh,
so
that's true.
we were making all the decisions. So it was really fantastic. And so we got the thing started, launched it at Sturgis Motorcycle Rally in 2015. We bought a semi tractor and did a big wrap on it. And
that's awesome.
And we hired mechanics to come and install the parts at the rally. And that was a 75th anniversary. There's 1.4 million people there.
And you guys
And it
also
was,
still
let's just,
do that too, right? Whenever you guys
yeah,
go to these events where you still have the mechanics who are installing these, and it creates that really great visual as well.
yeah, exactly. And our rally events, of course, this last summer we did Daytona, which is a huge rally in March.
Mm-hmm.
And like literally like the day the trailer came back and we emptied it, everything shut down. Um, most of the rallies were canceled for the rest of the summer. We all went to 5-6 months of working at home just in
Yeah.
case. Because remember in the beginning, no one knew. It was
No
like
one knew. Yeah.
everyone's going to die.
April and May.
Right.
Right.
You're going to get
Which
this and everyone's going to die.
which actually makes a pretty interesting point, because during April and May, you guys have this relatively new company, right? You've been around for a handful of years at that point, seen a lot of great success. What was the overall feeling in the office in April and May? I mean, even though you guys aren't a small mom and pop, you're obviously not a massive player, and so in those times of uncertainty, cash is always a very important part, right? Because people want to know, how long can our business survive? What was the office environment, the team feel, back in April and May?
Well, we never panicked, but there was always that underlying idea of what's going to happen with the economy. I remember 2008, 2009, 2010. Of course, I was in the motorcycle industry, in the parts industry too, and it crashed and burned hard, just like everything else did, because everyone's income in their expendable dollars, it just went away.
Yep.
So that was a concern of ours. It's like, okay, if everyone's going to be out of work and they're shutting everything down, what's going to happen to us? Now, fortunately for us, and whether people think it's a good idea or not, I'm just saying it was fortunate for us. We were, because we're in the automotive industry, transportation industry, we were considered to be an essential business. That's how random this stuff is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
but that was good for us. With our online pivot, I think somewhere in the neighborhood of within 2 weeks, like 2/3 of our business evaporated. And so there's a small company, there's 12 of us. We could pivot very, very quickly.
Sure.
We switched up all our marketing, everything, and
Sure.
focused fully for online sales, which had been good and robust for us.
Right.
But we have a distributor level and we have a dealer level too. And we really want to support those guys.
Sure.
But a
And
lot
and
of
I
the,
know too, so one of the, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, go ahead.
in a scenario like we talk about on the show a lot, is, and I'm sure you're very aware of, is diversification of revenue streams, maximizing channel diversification, because to your point, right, you never really know what might happen. And so I know you were kind of talking about, I just wanted for you to provide a little bit more detail on kind of what your channels look like, and then how that was also impacted at that time. And because you guys were a little bit smaller, a little bit more agile, the types of decisions that you guys were able to make to kind of reallocate those resources.
Right. No, I know what you mean there. What we needed to do was drive more people directly to our website. Few reasons, because we knew that the dealerships would close down that sell our parts. So like a dealer, Harley Davidson dealer, they sell our parts too, or a Honda dealer for our Goldstrike line. A lot of them, even the ones that didn't shut down, a lot of people just weren't going into them. So, we had these ghost towns. So we had one thing we could do is we had the dealers that were still open, had nothing going on.
Yeah.
So the sales managers and things like that had time to talk
Mm-hmm.
about product, to talk about, hey, did you get the catalog? We have, regular paper catalogs that we send out too. They're gorgeous.
Sure.
And did you have a chance to go through that? And if you have any questions, what to do, let me tell you something about a product you might not know about on page 52 or something like that.
Right.
Or,
So
maybe
using the time to really kind of boost those relationships with the people,
yes.
even though there's not necessarily any real commercial activity going on at the time.
Right. They're not going to put a $50,000 order in when they've got nobody coming through the door, but it gives
Sure.
us the opportunity to be, build affinity for us and say, that was kind of in the we're all in this together
Yeah.
movement
Yeah.
that came out.
Yeah.
And
A lot of people like spreading that message, right? We're all in this together.
right. And so, we were able to talk to them and say, hey, look, we're going to call you. We're going to talk to you. We're not going to badge you with sales and stuff, but how you guys doing? What's the feel? And
Sure.
what's the Southwest of the United States doing?
Mm-hmm.
We're global. So we have places all over the world. And this was no different in Seoul, Korea than it was in,
Right.
Tallahassee.
And how was the feedback from your customers in that regard? Like, were they getting similar treatment from some of their other suppliers as well, or were you guys a bit unique in really taking the time to build and establish those stronger relationships?
Um, it's a little hard to say. They don't always tell you, but I like to think that we were unique in that format. Just you're really just trying to build relationships and
Sure.
talk with people. And motorcycles are small, and there's a lot of pops in the motorcycle world. And we there's a lot of big dealers too. Harley Davidson dealers. There's a lot of these conglomerates that own between 5 and 10 dealerships. So that's a bigger company.
Sure.
So we had to kind of cater to both. And I guess I would say it was probably mixed. There was some people that just didn't know what was going on, if they're going to be open in a month, and they didn't really
Right. People
care.
feel for their own jobs.
Right.
Yeah.
But if the smart ones, talk to us and say, well, this is a good time to really get to know this company, what they do, how they work, and spend some time getting to know our sales staff and things like that, and our product.
Yeah, no, that's great. And it's awesome too that you guys were able to pivot that. And so I know you mentioned too, as far as driving a lot of more people to the site, and really sounds like kind of reaching out more directly to the consumers. What were kinds of the initiatives that you guys took to do that? Was it boosting online ads? Was it additional social media reach? What did you guys find that was effective to be able to do that?
Really, it was all of the above, as much as we could do. We found that videos convert very, very well, especially instructional videos, because if you remember, people are on unemployment,
Sure.
but they were getting an extra $600 a month. And then we got the stimulus of the $1,200 for every adult. And we found that even talking to the dealers, there was a lot of people that put $1,200 or $2,400 down on new vehicles, exactly for that reason. But
which is pretty much exactly, I think, what the government wanted, right? They were like, please go out and spend this money, even if it's a new motorcycle.
Right. So what we found is that during that time, so I was working at home, so I have my home studio. You can kind of see behind me.
Yeah, beautiful.
But I set up one in the garage too, because obviously I can't get a motorcycle downstairs. My wife doesn't like motorcycles in the house anymore, rules. But so we did a whole series of instructional videos on how to install. Here's this new product. We had a bunch of new product releases that we had coming out. And so I literally just took them home and said, here's how you can install it in your garage. And I did it in my garage with my hand tools. And they're pretty loose videos. They're not like super detailed or anything as far as production quality.
Sure.
I shot it with a DSLR and a GoPro.
Right.
And recorded them and made it really simple, but showed this is how you install this part. One of our goals for our whole company and any part is that you can install it relatively quickly without having to, basically if you can, assemble an IKEA desk or something like that, you can put just about any one of our parts together.
Although I do struggle with those. So maybe I might struggle a little bit with motorcycle accessories as well.
Well, we have a video for that. So you just check right in. And
if IKEA, you're listening, this is what you need to do. Instructional videos with all of your products.
So those really converted well and drove a lot more people to the site. And we really had to, part of what we had to do was just really refine what we were doing online to try and make everything, all of a sudden it was more important. Because we didn't have that. So, I did some videos where, again, the motorcycle, and I wore my suit today for you. See?
Oh yeah, I know. It's very fancy.
I have a collar.
I'm pretty sure that you would not be allowed in most restaurants that would consider themselves fancy. So if that's your workout fit, I think you're doing all right.
Yeah. So that was good. But so like part of the thing about being what I do is, I was taking the bikes and in the springtime, you get those beautiful sunsets.
Oh yeah.
And so I went out and did a bunch of videos riding along. We make GoPro mounts and things. We don't have any really GoPro footage. So let me take the bikes and go out on some of these early spring days where there's still not leaves and things like that on the trees, but you get these up in the upper Midwest. I'm in Minnesota, Wisconsin area. And you get these beautiful vistas and these big blue skies. So we did a bunch of videos like that and put them out there, and that really helped convert too.
That's awesome.
And some of the more lifestyle version kind of things of just here's us going out and doing things. So I was out. The beauty of one of the COVID things, town I live near, right near, is Anoka, Minnesota. And there's a river runs through it. And there's this beautiful arch bridge that they light up with LEDs at night. And there's usually crowds of people walking around, and there's,
Sure.
these walkways. And it's just a beautiful area. COVID, nothing.
Right.
So I'm out there one night in the dark. It's 10 o'clock at night. There's nobody around there. I was able to sit for 2 hours shooting video and photographs and documenting all kinds of stuff.
Because you could control everything, the lighting, like everything. Yeah. That's like a blank canvas that you've got on a beautiful setting.
So taking advantage of the bad situation, really, just to build some marketing materials and things like that was a huge help to us.
No, that's great. And I know too, so I know we talked some about Ciro and being kind of with Harley products, and then also some with Indian. I know you guys also have Goldstrike as well. Can you tell us a little bit about Goldstrike, what it is, how it kind of is different from Ciro?
Sure. Ciro, in 2014, when we started, Harley had released the previous fall, so late 2013, the new 2014 models, which was their new Rushmore edition. It's a new engine. There was a bunch of new. I mean, it was a radical change for Harley. They look very similar, but it was a radical change. So it was a good time to start the new company because we could start fresh and not have to have a bunch of in there.
Sure. Yeah.
For all these other bikes. At the time, Honda still had their Goldwing line that hadn't changed much since 2001. They did a mild rework in 2012, but it was still basically the same bike. So we didn't mess with that. We said, let's just focus on the Harley. If they come out with a new Goldwing, we'll just kind of keep an eye on it. So fast forward to 2018, Ciro was rocking pretty well. We got things moving. Had a lot of product. We have hundreds of products now for Harleys. And they dropped the Goldwing. They said, okay, new Goldwing's coming out. And this was actually in 2017 in the fall. So we found out, we put our order in. Fun fact, everyone thinks that the aftermarket gets all these bikes and we know about everything before. We find out exactly the same time that everyone else does. There's no insider information.
Sure.
Unfortunately, we try as hard as we can. If we could get a mole in every company, we'd have it.
What's as far as I could get without going to jail to get the knowledge about this?
Right. So, but because of that, there's a whole industry of magazines and things like that, and online things of updates on what's happening.
Sure.
But anyway, so we ordered our bike in October. We didn't get it till February of 2018. And at that point, we had gone to there's the IMS, the International Motorcycle Show, Progressive Suspension puts on every year, or Progressive Insurance, not Progressive Suspension. Sorry. They do a show and many shows around the country. They're like a motorcycle show. It's like the new car show that goes around, but it's for motorcycles.
Gotcha.
We went to that, and it was the first time we actually got to really see and feel and touch the new bike. And I think that was in January of that year. So we got the bike a month later. I took a ton of pictures. We had a bunch of concepts that we put together, drawings and whatnot to develop to do. And as we got our bike in, we loaded it, unloaded it, and everything else stopped in the company for the design team, for me and the other two guys. I'd gone more into the marketing side of things and less into the product design. So I jumped back in the product design because we figured, all right, this new Goldwing's a big deal. It's the first one in almost 20 years. They do sell well. They have a huge following. I mean, it's really, really tight following, great community of people, wonderful folks, really, really
probably
nice.
Very big aftermarket, kind of thing.
Large aftermarket. And it's one of the reasons we didn't touch it before, because the competition was going to be so stiff that we figured, well, when this new one comes out, the one thing we have going for us is speed. We've got the best team in the industry, and I'm humbly part of it. And but the other guys are just amazing. So we jumped on this thing and developed.
And you were back in dream world at that point, right? You were back into your wheelhouse, being able to create and produce again.
Right. Yeah. And that way, and Ciro was still going. I mean, we were that side of thing was still going. So we had to still maintain products and quality control and all that. And at the time, I think we only had maybe 8 or 9 employees at the time. So this was just a pretty big deal.
Sure.
And doing all the shows and rallies and then coming up. So anyway, long story short, we launched the Goldstrike line because no one knew what was about it except for a few key dealers that we talked to.
Sure.
And we launched it at there's a Goldstrike or a Goldwing convention every year that they call Wingding. So
great name.
And it happened to be the 40th anniversary in 2018, I believe. So we launched the Goldstrike at one of our dealers' booths at Wingding, and it was the talk of the show.
That's
And
great.
we got there figuring, okay, well, we've got 47 or 48 products for them. I mean, we did that from February 2018 to August. And, you know, some of the parts we had were still in white boxes. The
Sure.
packaging wasn't finished yet and things like that, but the product was done, tested, ready to sell.
That's awesome.
And we did very well there at show, and it created a buzz because the rest of the industry, believe it or not,
right,
sat hands wondering what was going to happen. And
yeah,
we took the chance, and it was
because you're saying you
chance.
guys had approximately 50 products at the time. And so if you had to estimate, or maybe, you know, what were your guys' competitors, you know, offerings at that time looking like? I mean, did they have anything kind of ready to go to market, or maybe just a handful of products?
Handful of products, because some of the products that the other companies had would still fit the new bike.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there was
So they had some carryover product kind of thing.
Right. There was a few carryover things. Like you think about if you when they design a brand new Mustang, well, the wheels on the old Mustang still fit the new Mustang. So if you sell Mustang wheels, you're like, oh, I've got, this is for the new bike.
Right. But they put maybe a little new logo or something like that on here, and it's like revolutionary, you know.
we joke about the industry about when the new models come out every year. We just call them, you know, welcome to Harley's day of bold new graphics.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So, but all of that being said, we did we had a great line of products, and we started at the front and went to the back of the bike. So we had something for every part of the motorcycle. They were all designed together, so everything lined up well. Everything, you know, from a design and standpoint, we wanted things to look as OEM factory as they could, but still be a custom part.
Sure.
You know, we have warranties. We have a lifetime warranty on LEDs and our lighting and things like that for motorcycles, which is huge because you know, you spend some money and you want to have it be, you know, you be covered. And it worked really well. We got a buzz, and the rest of the industry, like I said, they had things that worked, and they used those. But, you know, a company that had hundreds of products for these might have had 3 or 4 products that still fit.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, here's this company with 50. So it did 2 things. I jumped online, and when this was happening, I started watching the groups and the Facebook groups and you know, the different blogs and things like that, and seeing what people were saying, because this group of people were very tech savvy. They were online a lot. And so I'm not a poser. I ride a motorcycle. I've got thousands and thousands of miles on there. I've ridden just about every motorcycle you can think of.
Well, my wife would not approve. So, you know.
My wife doesn't, but I was grandfathered in because I was into that before we got married.
There you go. My 4-year-old wants a motorcycle, and I'm almost certain that he will need to, you know, be 50 or 60 years old before he's going to be allowed to have a motorcycle.
My parents forbid it. They absolutely forbid it. So,
which
you know,
means that's what you want to do, right? Like, when something is forbidden, like, now I have to have one.
I've got to do that. My mom, all right, she's just turned 89 a couple days ago. And still, if I ride anywhere and she's there, when I pull up, you know, she's like this in the driveway looking at me. She's like, I can't even watch. I'm like, wow, it's that level. But anyway, so I've ridden these bikes, and when I rode the new Goldwing, I was absolutely blown away with it. Honda killed this thing. They absolutely killed it with this new bike. It is one of the most incredible machines I've ever ridden. And it's a Goldwing. It's a big old man's bike, is what people, you know, that's kind of the thought of it. But not this one. I mean, you can stand it up and do wheelies, but it's still a 900-pound. 120, 130 horsepower. It has a 6-cylinder motor. It's an automatic now, where it's a DCT transmission, so you don't have to shift.
Right.
It's all computer control. I mean, they upped their game so heavy that I was so impressed, that I was passionate about it. So I started talking to a lot of people online that were also passionate about it, that had them. And you know, I built real personal relationships with a lot of these guys. And so when we released the company and got parts going, I already had a group of people to talk to.
Yeah, they were ready.
And they're chomping at the bit to find out what was going on, because I wasn't saying what we were doing, because we kept everything really, really tight. And then when we launched it, they're like, oh, you're that guy. I talked to you online.
All right. You were a mole infiltrating our society of bike riders here.
And an interesting thing, so that was the first year, 18. So in 2019, between 2018 and 2019, I had done a lot of videos and installation videos and all that, because I was so passionate about it. We all just kind of got together and said, all right, well, Ken, you be the guy that does it because you have the most passion. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. You know, I have a face for radio, but that'll work on video too, I guess, showing wrenches.
You can just do it in a dark room, you know, it's a little harder to see.
Yeah, get the spotlight on the bike there, not so much on me. I'll stand over here.
Right, right. Always, it's like what was his name, Wilson from Home Improvement, where all the
The
time you
fence.
got something covering up your face. You know,
Yeah, no, I liked it. But so here's one of the things that happened. You talked about how we marketed this and how we did it without a lot of magazine ads and things like that we found doesn't work very well. It was a lot of just online social media posts and things like that, where I was doing videos and YouTube videos on how to install things. So this is something I didn't expect. Is next year I went to the Wingding for the second year. Now people knew who we were. We were
Mhm.
the industry leader. We had come out with another 50 products over the course of the next year. So now we really, I mean, we weren't like a one-trick pony where here's a bunch of products and we're going to sit on those and sell those for a while. We
Right.
continuously, because if you're not creating new stuff, there's no reason for people to come back.
Yep, exactly.
And we listen to them. They tell us what they want, and we try to make things that would make sense. And
Sure.
it worked. And the next year when I went back to Wingding, it was in this time it was in Tennessee. So I went and people were coming up to me and go, "Oh, you're the YouTube guy," and I didn't even think about that. This is something I hadn't even considered from a marketing
Sure.
standpoint.
Now
And this
you're
was,
a semi-celebrity. People want photos with you. You can start charging them, that kind
yeah,
of thing, right?
I'm secret famous. That's what we call it. No one knows about me unless you have a Goldwing. Then you're like,
Right,
"Oh, I know that guy."
right. Oh yeah, you're the Goldwing video guy.
Right. So there's in this 4 other people that are doing it too, that do Goldwing videos and reviews and things. And I got to talk to them, and so they interviewed me, and I interviewed them. We same kind of deal, and it was like all of a sudden I realized, wow, look at what we've been missing.
Mhm.
Is this whole world of online, these YouTube videos out there,
Sure,
kind of with the thought process of this is a marketing
sure.
tool, and we want to make sure that customer understands how this product works and what the features and
And
benefits are. But
and so going into that too, I know that you guys basically were huddled in a room for 6 months, kind of creating all of these products to release, um, without really having a lot of direct customer feedback. Were there certain things that you guys created that you were like, this is going to be an instant hit, and other things where you were like, nah, we'll make it because we want to have something for that piece, but I don't know if it's going to be that popular. And then once you release them, they caught you guys by complete surprise and you sold out within a day and you had no idea that the demand for that was going to be there.
totally. We that happens to us all the time. And I've been in the motorcycle industry painting and creating products since about 1994. And the other guys have been in it for 15, 20 years. And uh, you have your thumb on the pulse of
Yeah.
the indie. And then, like, I could tell you one story we did. So our first year when we launched in Sturgis,
Right.
we make drink holders and foam, little
Yep.
mount that was the little ball mount that works really well, simple thing. So we made a GoPro mount for it, and we had 50 of them at Sturgis the first year, figuring we're not going to go through 50 of these things. So Sturgis a week, but think about a week with 2 weekends.
Yep.
So about the whole week before that first week is set up, and you can start to sell, and then there's a few days after. Really
Sure.
there for
And you
16 to 8 days.
Right. And you probably get waves of people considering the timing, right? So it's not one, maybe you get some people that stay the entire time, but you probably get some people that come in for this period and then some other people that come in for this period.
Exactly. So what happens is, people come in early and they want to beat the crowds or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then they say, okay, let's do a um uh let's just check out and see what the new company has. We sold out of this GoPro mount before the show started. And we're like,
You're just scratching your head going, well, boy, we were not planning on that.
right. And we're like, oh, so we, because of our relationship with our suppliers is we were able to get more amount, other 50 or 100 of them, I think, that they made for us, and that were in the water that were going to be shipped, from globally.
Sure.
And we got them to air freight them directly to the dealership in the middle of South Dakota.
That's
during
awesome.
during the Sturgis rally. So we took teams down
Yeah.
and emails and got that, and really started building lists from that. So that's one of the things. Some of the Goldwing stuff we did a trunk light for it. I might have, hold on one sec. I get you.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Let's take a look. I'm sure the listening audience would like to see it, or viewing audience, I guess, probably one or the other. If you're listening,
if you're on the
maybe you want to check it out on YouTube, and that way you can see it.
So this right here is let's see right there. This is one of our, and it was just one of those ones we wanted to make look like a OEM part.
Uh-huh.
And it's been a huge hit. I mean, it's just pretty much everyone that had a Goldwing right away, they bought that light.
Yeah.
And it's not an inexpensive light. I mean, it's a couple $100, and
Sure.
but it's run, turn, brake, and it has sequential paths. I mean, the videos and stuff, you can go online and see them. It has all kinds of cool stuff.
No, that's great.
We knew it was going to be a home run, and it was. And there's other ones that we came out with, like, oh, this is going to be
right.
Just wasn't. So the original.
Yeah. You're scratching your head. You're like, we have 10,000 of these things. What are we going to do with them?
Right. So there's a few of those things, and or like Harley changed their motor again in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So the parts that we made for the 2014 and up only fit 14, 15, and 16, and not 17.
Right.
So it's like, okay, well, do we make that new part for the new one, or are they just going to change it again? And you never know. You really roll the dice in this industry, and cash flow is everything, and you have to keep things moving. You have to keep the inventory turning, or you can't just have it sit there.
Sure.
So yeah.
And so what's the future then? Because it sounds like you guys have had a lot of success with both brands. Mm-hmm. One of them, you seem to be a little bit more of a first to market competitive advantage in that regard. I know you mentioned earlier you've got a team and a total staff of about 12. How have you guys been able to kind of balance the resources, and how do you see that forecasting in the future? Or maybe you're going, well, I'm the creative guy, I don't really deal with that.
We all have our strengths. So all of the founders of the company, there's 4 of us main founders, and we all have multiple strengths and weaknesses, and we also know what they are. Mm-hmm. On any given day, we're 6 years in now, 6.5 years in, so we have a pretty good idea what we're going to be doing, but still things come in, like you might get 2 containers of parts come in, and our warehouse is at a separate location than our head office in our main office, and we don't really have a store or anything like that. And there's times where we'll drop what we're doing up to the warehouse and go unload a truck and do some inventory or do something like that if it's needed. So it's kind of all hands on deck when it needs to be, but other than that, we've really focused our skills and spread out our resources in a way that and we're trying to keep it as small people wise as we possibly can. We'd rather have we could set up a store and have a whole thing like that, but we'd rather have dealers and distributors be able to kind of spread it around, spread it around the world, and let them be the ones that
kind of help drive you guys to your business decisions.
Right. So that puts it that, and again, that changes kind of most people do when they start a business. You want to sell the stuff to the direct. We do at rallies. We do online, but still the majority of what we sell goes to distributors and if that could be the way, because we have dealers in all the world that we wouldn't have if we were just doing it direct.
Sure.
And it supports a lot more people, and one of the things of sourcing globally is it allows us to do that.
Right.
Just because of the cost difference, it allows us to have different levels and really be able to spread, a lot of people get to very successful businesses selling our product. I mean, we have other people that go around to rallies and things like that sell our product that do very well. Mm-hmm. And it's nice to see the other people's business, knowing that you created something.
You're a part of that. Yeah.
You're a part of it. You're creating helping their business. And sometimes people have trouble businesses too. And because we're small, you can call us and you're going to talk to one of us.
Sure.
And struggle. And what can we do? Like, okay, well, maybe maybe this was a defective part or something. Well, we'll just take care of that. Or, we had a real unfortunate thing with one of our dealers. Their warehouse burnt to the ground and burnt everything with it. Well, then they were down for months. Yeah. So we worked with them and made an arrangement with them. It didn't cost them anymore, and just said, why don't we just help you through this hard time? If it's that we care, we do care deeply about people liking our stuff. And if, questions, and that's why we're doing these videos, and that's why we do all this kind of stuff.
Sure.
Because we want to show the customer that we like to ride. We don't want to leave you stranded. We don't want problems with it.
Yeah.
And we want you to love our stuff, so you keep coming back.
Yeah. That's a great, maybe I'll title this episode, "We Want You to Love Our Stuff," so that way you keep coming back.
Right.
So with the last few minutes that we've got left, I know that you're a creative type. You're an artist. You've basically been doing that kind of thing all your life.
Right.
What other projects does Ken Madden have going on? I know you're probably super busy, but is there anything else that's going on as far as your creative, your creative mind is working on?
It never stops working. That's the problem. So I do a lot of things to stay fresh in the design world and art world. And one of the things I do, I have my own side hack business of Mad K Studio. So madkstudio.com.
Yeah, we'll put it in the
And
show notes. We'll link it
cool.
there.
Appreciate it. And I do, artwork and things. I'm a car guy. I'm a absolute car fanatic and a motorcycle guy. So I'm doing a ground up build right now on a 1972 Cutlass Supreme. So you'll see some of the Mad K Studio stuff on
Awesome.
that. But I worked my way through college drawing pictures of people's muscle cars and things like that and doing portraits. And recently started painting again, just, with acrylics on canvas and doing horses and dogs. And this was so far out of my comfort zone, but
It's a little different than a muscle car.
and motorcycles and stuff like that and Sturgis. And there I am painting horses and dogs. But I really, really enjoy it. And it keeps me grounded. And it's thing. But the Mad
now you're going for the cute crowd, right? The cute. You want something cute. Draw something cute.
Well, it's not. It was what it was actually boards horses up in New Hampshire. And for Christmas, she wanted to get paintings of all her horses that she boarded to give it to the owners for a Christmas present. I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And I didn't expect to love it as much as I do. It was all consuming. It was all I could think about for like 2 weeks was these paintings. And it enhances what I do at my day job. It enhances what goes on at Ciro, because it's just, you get the creative juices going and you add that to the business end of things that's being successful.
Yeah.
And there's no stopping. So we'll work together, but the Mad K Studio is my outlet. That's my my sanity. And check it out. I got some fun stuff on there.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Well, Ken, is there any kind of social media, anything like that you want to plug here before we say bye?
Absolutely. So go any of the social media. It's Ciro3D.com or Ciro3D, at Goldstrike 3D. We'll get you the Goldstrike stuff if you have
perfect
Honda. So go check out what we do and drop us a line. Tell us you heard us, and share the show.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, I like that. That's a great. Maybe I'll make that the title. Share the show.
Share the show.
Well, Ken, I really appreciate it. I think we definitely kicked off Entrepreneur Month here on a great foot. I think you've actually set the bar quite a bit higher than you were thinking. So it's always good, right? We promise low and then we over deliver. So
I hope so. And it was a pleasure being on your show. And the best of with this. It's I've listened to everyone.
I like it. You hear that, people? He listened to everyone. All right, Ken. Well, take care, man. Best of luck and keep us updated.
Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.